In any game you play, there's going to be good players that try to push the game to its absolute limits. Whether it's a hyper-competitive game like League of Legends, or a simple casual game like Minecraft. Whatever game that may be, there will always be a small group of dedicated players that will spend every waking hour exploring everything the game has to offer. But then you got 40-year-old Andrew over here, who just came home from a 12-hour shift from the office, back to his 3 crackhead kids who are hooked to Cocomelon and whatever new brain rot people have discovered, and his wife who just finished cooking him a powdered donut dinner. But all Andrew wants to do now is casually spend 1 to 2 hours playing his favorite game, Marvel Rivals. Now, most casual players who play the game for fun might not have a hellhole of a life Andrew over here does, but a majority of the player base will only spend a few hours playing a game per day. But the real question is, should devs balance their game around a casual like Andrew only putting 1 to 2 hours every day, or the super fat sorted gamer putting 6 to 8 hours every day like the 99.5% who are not subscribed? I know who you are. It's hard to actually give a solid answer because both sides are important to cater to. The main benefit to balancing around hardcore players is being the pro scene. Watching well-balanced heroes played in the highest level of play is a peak to any competitive game. So much so, it can actually start getting a lot of casual players into competitive. And since most content creators will most likely be around the higher ranks, their experience will be that much better. And with a better ranked experience, they could tell their viewers that it's not just a giant waste of time. And some viewers will eventually fall for it and sell their souls to the solo queue ladder. But with this, it comes with a con. Most viewers aren't going to be higher than Grandmaster or Celestial. The majority would most likely be Silver to Platinum, so the game will feel very unbalanced when it comes to heroes. Heroes like Ultron have a higher win rate in Gold than they do in Celestial. And with heroes like Namor, it's the complete opposite. Based on how some kits were made, some heroes are just going to be better in the lower ranks than they are in the higher ranks. So instead of making the majority of the player base upset over having to play against high skill ceiling heroes, smurfing on them all the time, the devs decided it would be better to make casuals more happy, making easy to play heroes more powerful, letting them give as much value as a high skill ceiling hero. They started giving them abilities that got them out of bad positions, their primary fire or abilities that just don't require any aim at all, built-in self-sustain in their kit, and ultimates that were light years better than others. This pattern of hero design began to happen in one game, being Overwatch. This epidemic started around the release of Moira. Her primary fire is a short-range healing beam that doesn't take nearly as much aim as Ana does, but her secondary fire auto-locks to an enemy, damaging them while also healing herself. Her fade makes her invincible and more uncatchable than Wally West. Her biotic orb could be an AoE healing for her team and for herself, or a way to AoE damage the enemy team just by throwing it at their general direction, and her ultimate being a laser beam that just needs to be aimed somewhere near the character to damage or to heal them. I don't believe low skill heroes like Moira being released once in a while is a bad thing. It's a good way for new players who don't have experience with first person shooters to get accustomed to playing Overwatch. And that doesn't mean they can't make a low skill floor hero like Moira also have a high skill ceiling. But considering there's somebody with 2,000 plus hours on Moira is still throwing damage orbs at their teammates, which is then placed in a montage, it's safe to say that the skill ceiling isn't very high, or no good self-respecting player has ever reached it. After Moira's release, the Overwatch devs really started to follow Moira's blueprint while making new characters. For supports, their kit either involved having an auto-locking heal, AoE healing, and then in general, most heroes had some sort of mobility, a low barrier to entry, high burst damage, and at least an A tier ultimate. But the problem comes when these new friendly overloaded kits become so powerful they become must picks in rank and even pro play. It's bad for pro play since all you gotta watch is a mirror matchup. It's just an absolute snooze fest because the hero designs are not complex enough to see good highlights, making every game a slog to watch. And worse for ranked matches because now every person who takes the game seriously is now met with a life commitment of playing one boring hero, or they're simply gonna lose to those who don't have any dignity. And because these heroes are so easy to play, players who previously peaked at Platinum Platinum can reach Diamond or even Masters just by playing what's new, broken, and easy. This is bad because if bad players play easy overloaded characters, they're just gonna keep making mistakes and it won't matter because the character will just undo those mistakes just by using a single ability. This just boosts them to a rank they shouldn't be in the first place, making the match quality much worse for those players who reach Masters playing an honest hero that takes mechanics to get any value from and doesn't have abilities to build them out for every little mistake they make. This is a problem I've been seeing more and more in Marvel Rivals. When Rivals came out, the hero designs were nothing like we've ever seen. Being able to open a portal to one part of the map to the other was strange, to DPS characters like Spider-Man being able to swing around the map with not much limitations. Some of these characters have incredibly high skill floors and could take tens of hundreds of hours to master, but the same is true on the other side of the coin. While Rivals does have some heroes that take a lot of experience to get used to, they also have heroes that bone marrow babies could play, and most of these heroes are in the support role, and there's no question about it. Out of all the 3 roles, supports have the easiest job in the game. All they have to do is stay behind their team and heal them. Besides that, they have to keep their eyes peeled for dive and maybe start using an ability or an ultimate when you start hearing voice lines. That's it. The main skill of the role comes in hitting your shots, your ability to position yourself, and managing your cooldown / ultimates. Out of the 9 supports in the game, 6 of them require no aim, and the leftover 3 require little aim to heal your team. Out of the 9 supports in the game, 6 of them have burst mobility to get them out of a sticky situation, while 2 out of the leftover 3 have a way to stun the enemy. And out of the 9 supports in the game, only 1 of them has a punishing long cooldown, and supports could use their ultimates whenever they feel like it. Since they farm it up so fast, they'll have it out by the next fight. These kids are so easy to play that it's very common for me to see mispositioned supports in almost every game I play. It's so frustrating to see gold level players playing in Grandmaster, which they have no business being in, just because they play an easy, overpowered character that carries them through the ranks. And Rivals has seen almost all of these characters be meta in the highest ranks. It also doesn't help that the Rivals rank system is so easy to climb if they just play enough, because you gain more points than you lose them. So as someone who has been playing shooter games for over 10 years now, spending all that time refining my skills to make myself a better FPS player, why should I play games that don't respect my time and experience? What's the point of playing a hero to master every aspect of them just for the devs to add a new hero that is 10 times better and easier to play? What's the point of putting any time into rank when everybody has an inflated elo, making the quality of every match horrible to sit through because the players I play with and against don't belong there? But the devs will always side with casual players because they could only make so much money from sweaty gamers. While there are players who would dump every cent they earn into a game, those players are too few and far between compared to a casual who plays the game and will maybe fork over some money to get the new Gunner skin. There is just more money to be made with casuals because of the sheer quantity of them, and I can't blame devs for wanting money. These are free to play games after all, and if they weren't, I probably would never have given them a chance. But when my games are constantly ruined by a player who have bad mechanics and poor positioning, but only play low skill high reward heroes, my opinion of the game gets worse and worse, especially when these negative experiences keep piling on. And I always told myself once I reach Grandmaster, all these problems will go away, but they never do. Not even when I made it to Eternity did I stop praying, hoping that the enemy team got worse players than I did. It feels like that's what most games boil down to. Whoever gets less boosted players in their team wins. As I see it, devs are just gonna keep pushing these easier to play heroes so they could cater to a wider audience. And the only thing they really have to do is just not make them competitively viable. While you can't stop players from playing those characters in bronze to platinum games, they shouldn't be able to reach diamond plus with an unpolished game sense. The devs should focus on pushing characters like Ana. She doesn't have any mobility, but does have an ability to defend herself that isn't just pressing the button to get away. She still has to take the time to reposition herself to a better location without a huge leap to get there. It immediately forces the player to think on their feet ability and assess where they should position. While Ana is a very simple character, she takes a lot of game sense and mechanics to play at a high level. Well, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, or else you will have front-running supports in your next 10 ranked games.